don't
so,
know if that started. Oh, yeah, it did.
yeah, 3,
Okay.
2, and 1. Well, Mayor Diny, welcome back. Mayor's Monday here at WSAU, WSAU.com. Happy post-election day. Obviously, you weren't all that stressed out for election day. You weren't on the ballot, but we do have, I'd say 4 out of 11. I'd say that's nearly a significant shakeup on the city council coming our way here in 2 weeks. Is
Well,
that
it's definitely a change. We knew we were going to have at least 2 because 2 incumbents didn't run again this year. By the way, welcome to the boardroom.
Yes,
Michael,
indeed,
and,
the boardroom.
Next month when you come in, we'll be doing it in my office because they're almost completed. They need to get the floor done. So as it turns out, we're going on 8 weeks and I'm still working out of a cubby hole down the hall.
Right.
But yes, 4 new. Now last year there were 3 because I was one that moved, and and the year before I think there were 2. So that's a pretty large percentage, like you said, change, and it's some fresh faces, some fresh ideas, and I'm excited for all 4 of them coming in to get their feet wet and get their committee assignments. And I think it's an opportunity to reset, to gel as a cohesive unit. And you don't always have to agree, but you'll have more opportunity for exchange of ideas, especially new people as they get up to speed, different perspectives. You know, I haven't, I don't know if there's any preconceived notions out there. I hope there isn't. I think that's probably not. So, yeah, I'm optimistic.
I think probably the biggest thing that people will notice when they look at what the new makeup of the council is going to be like is your last 2 council presidents, Becky McElhaney and Lisa Rasmussen. In fact, the only 2 council presidents that I have dealt with in my 8+ years here, both going to be off. Obviously, Becky stepped back on her own. She's one of those open seats that you talked about. Lisa losing a bid for re-election. So what is now your advice to this new council as, of course, their first major task after they get sworn in is to select a new council president. So what's your advice to them? I don't want to ask how you see that going. I don't know that you're going to be endorsing anyone, but what are you hoping for when that process starts at reorganization day?
Well, I think it'll be the same as approach that I took when I first got elected. One of the things that what I felt there was maybe a concentration on committees, so we spread committees out a little more fairly that last year, and I think we'll do the same this year, and everybody gets a chance to put their committees in. My preference is to give their preference, and then also assign strengths as I see them, and I think that'll be the first step to get to know, you know, how they're going to mix together. And I think part of that approach, because one of the criticisms was, hey, you can't put an inexperienced person in a particular spot. The reality is we could, in any given election cycle, have 11 brand new people. If you are running and your citizens elect you, you are fully qualified to operate in any position, any chair on council. So there's something to be said for a little time in the seat and experience, but all of these people who ran and were elected, they ran on their qualifications, they were elected by their districts. I expect them all to be able to take any chair or committee assignment and execute as a professional. I mean, they are professionals in that sense that they have a resume, they put it out there, they ran their campaigns. So I think it's fair game for anyone. Obviously, council president probably favors if someone who's been there a little bit longer, but yeah, I expect them all to be ready to go day one. And we have a tremendous staff who will be able to, they're the policy body. The staff is the executes and prepares, but the council is the policy body. So they review that information, ask questions, and then vote on that. So they're not expected to know everything. If they don't feel they have enough information to make a decision, send it back to committee, send it back to staff. But they're all executive level people who make decisions, most of them in their daily lives, hold staff accountable, take that information, vote policy. That's their job.
Now, obviously, one of the big things that everybody's been talking about, it's not just this election, but it's been a couple of years now, city budget-wise. Obviously, we did have the referendum pass, so we do know that increase is coming on the tax bills next year. What is going to be your guidance to this new council when it comes time for budget? Because obviously, believe it or not, here in a couple of months, you're going to put that packet together,
Right.
and submit it to the council. I mean, right after June, we're going to be in it.
Well, it was a close call on that referendum. So the people have elected to take that increase, but I think it's our responsibility to take that money and use it wisely. So it doesn't give us a free pass to just blow it out in other areas. So the people have spoken. This is what they want. They will get those positions permanently added and then responsibly administered. So if it's 1.4 million, don't come in and ask for 1.6 because you're not going to get it. That's, I guess, my position on that particular piece. And then on the rest of the levy, we just have to be responsible in it. And you saw a lot of people running on the notion of being fiscally responsible. So I would expect that council members will, on our original, what do they call it, a retreat.
Yeah.
So, we get together and we kind of pick, we've got a butcher block, we write down what are their priorities, and we pick 3 or 4 things that are priorities. If you remember last time, oddly enough, budget was one of the top ones, and then it was also the homeless. Mm-hmm. They did get some action on the homeless shelter. We've got now we've got Bridge Street going. We put some ARPA money toward it, so we'll do that again. And I suspect financial responsibility will be high on the list. And then it's up to council, because look at if this referendum would have failed, really would have been a job, more decisions for the council to make across the city. You've got 350 plus employees. You put them up against firefighters. Most people will prioritize firefighters versus an admin clerk somewhere. So we would have had to make those kind of decisions. Spending on other operational things. Maybe we wouldn't buy as many. We extend the life of some of our vehicles. So I mean, there's a lot of different things they're going to have to look at. But we're still obligated to be fiduciaries for our residents.
And I mean, that being said, one could look at this and say something to the effect of, okay, if they gave us the $1.4 million here, let's see what happens if we cut $1.4 million straight up from the city budget. I'm guessing it sounds appealing on the surface, but that's not quite how this would work behind the scenes, right?
Well, I think, in an ideal way, you find 1.4 out there, we wouldn't have had the referendum. And I offered a plan to get there. I got 8 there. We only needed enough for 4. So there was room to get partial. If the referendum would have failed, we would not have cut 12 firefighters. We would have saved as many as we could have. And I did present a plan that would have, just without a lot of hard work, would have gotten 8. And then we could have dug for some more. So I think those kind of exercises are still available in other areas if we need room for in new employees in other areas. There might be that, but I think everybody has to realize that this was very narrowly spoken for or passed. Doesn't give us a blank check to go nuts in the rest of the area. Because otherwise, if we come to a referendum next year on another issue, that's not going to fly. Mm-hmm. So we need to be responsible that we don't dig ourselves into another hole where we have to come back to residents asking for more money.
Speaking of digging holes, the winter certainly dug holes all over the streets. I drive by one really lovely area every day on my way home from work. I can promise you that, on Stewart Avenue. And
Stewart's been a
Third.
priority, and
Yes. How are we coming on pothole repair, street repair? What is that going to look like here in the spring?
well, the asphalt plants aren't open just yet. Last word I got back from Dustin down at Streets is probably be another week or so. And once that happens, then we'll be out full force with the hot asphalt from the asphalt plant. Right now, we're doing more patching just to keep up. We're doing some hot mix, but until we get the large batches from the asphalt plants, so fingers crossed, and just another week or so patience before we get full force on potholes. Maybe we'll get the governor back up here to help us fill a few.
Oh yes, pothole patrol. Yeah, absolutely. And we've only got one more year of that before the new governor comes in. So yes, well, we've got him. We just as well put him to work.
With a
right?
shovel in his hand.
Yeah. So as far as the rest of the street projects go this year, though, what are we looking at? What could residents expect in that department?
Well, we do have a 5-year plan. It doesn't look like, I don't have the update on how much snow removal costs we spent. I don't know that we're gonna have the savings on salt, and over time, we had that 31 inches at the end of the year.
No doubt.
Wow, that was an expensive venture. It was 16 hours on Sunday, and we had 29 pieces of equipment out there, 14 and a half on Monday, just to get the final pass, and then the snow removal all week to get that down to downtown, and now it's all melted.
Of course.
So it'll be a few weeks or so before we know what that budget is. But I would love to do what we did last year and carry over some more overlay. You know, now you know, maybe there's an opportunity to get some, because money is fungible in some respects with the referendum. But we should take a look at what's left over from last year. Anything left over should be poured into the roads. I think last year we did 600,000 extra.
Yep. It's about
Asphalt
12
overlay.
blocks, if I remember right, 12 or
Right.
20, somewhere in that area.
So I think residents, I've gotten feedback on that. Certain streets people say, hey, this is looking good. Let's do some more of it. So I really would hope that the infrastructure committee and then on the council will approve whatever extra money we have left over to put in the streets.
Absolutely. Anything else you'd like us to know then before we let you go as we get ready for spring?
Well, stay tuned. As you know, tomorrow night we have the final lame duck council meeting. We'll farewell those 4 leaving, give them their pats on the back, and then a week later the formation meeting or the organizational meeting.
Yep.
We'll see where the new council wants to take it with the rules, and away we go.
All right, awesome. Well, we always appreciate the time. We'll look forward to chatting again next month.
Alrighty, Michael, see you next month.